Hi, loves. Welcome to AW Confidential. Today I'm joined by actress Lindsay Weisberg. Audiences may know her from projects like Special Ops, Rent-A-Cop, the upcoming theatrical release, Gangland, and the highly anticipated series, All the Sinners Bleed. Most recently, though, she is playing a part in Lethia, and we will be talking a little bit about her projects and probably go beyond her projects to the real story. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi,
How
nice
are
to
you?
meet you. Good,
Oh,
thank you.
so nice to meet you. So we had some laughs before we hopped on. So, true story.
Mm,
I love to talk about truth on the podcast. And I want to go back a little bit. What drew me to your story was more than just what I see on screen. You
mm,
went from competitive downhill skiing, is that
mm,
right?
mm.
To neuroscience,
Well, being more like a chemistry nerd pre-med first.
science,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then acting, which is, and there's a big contrast there.
Yeah.
Your journey, it just feels like it's one of reinvention, resilience, which we'll talk a little bit about, and embracing unexpected paths. So I want you to take me back a little bit to
Mhm.
that transition because you went from something that's sort of so it's like so straight. It's like
Black and white.
black. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say narrow, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's to you went from black and white, not even to gray, but like
Mhm,
to a full vibrant array of colors.
mhm.
How did that happen?
Well, in terms of the sports stuff, the skiing first,
So
you
you
mean?
went from athletics. Were you skiing while you were in school?
I started skiing when I was 3, so I've been skiing a long time. So
Okay.
that skiing was like I never wanted to ski. My dad pushed me to ski. Like I wanted to sit inside and eat like lasagna and watch Winnie the Pooh when I was 3, but he's like, go ski. So I was skiing and that kind of took off. And next thing I know, I was going to ski camps in the summer, and that was just like passion. And I started racing, and which is intense. And then I was at the same time I was good in science, so I was like a chemistry dork, kind of. Like I liked
You say it
chemistry.
like,
I told my mom I love
well,
chemistry, and
you
she's like, "Okay, I don't know what to do with that." But I
ah,
I was good at very good at chemistry, and I really liked it, and I thought I was going to be a doctor. Thing is, I didn't realize there were other paths available to me. So like if I'm good, I was good at something, and then I was planning going to I was going to go to Dartmouth, and I got in, and I wasn't so excited about it. I was excited to like be done with one chapter, but my dad had thrown away my chemistry textbooks and notebooks, and I thought I was going to use them, and I had a meltdown. It's like, oh my God, I need these. I love these. And then mid meltdown, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm crying over chemistry textbooks. Like, this is really odd. So I stopped, and I'm like, I don't think this is what I really like. So I took a year off. And in that year, I was competitive racing in Colorado. And then I decided to take an acting class because I was like, I need a more diverse world. Like, it's just so, yeah. And I started taking classes, and I'm like, I want to do this. So by the time I got to Dartmouth, I told my parents I didn't want to go to college. And they're like, yeah, no.
oh boy.
So they're like, you're going. And I'm like, okay. But I transferred to Tisch a year after being there. So it was like, I just went with it. Like, it just felt right. And I just kept going. Then I went back to school for neuroscience after the whole, so I went full circle. So then I went back. So I got an undergrad in acting, master's in acting. And then I was working as an actor. And then I went back to get a master's degree in neuroscience.
Talk
So that,
talk about reinvention. Like,
yeah,
I mean, really,
yeah.
because I think a lot of times we start something and we feel this pressure to finish what we started and how we started, to continue whatever path has been laid out. But
Yeah.
I mean, you really took some chances there.
I did. I mean, yeah, I did. And then I was like, you talk about resilience. I wasn't really feeling resilient as an actor like a while ago, years ago. And it was affecting my work and auditions. And a really nice casting director once said to me, she's like, you're very talented, but you just brought your day in with you. And I was like,
Wow.
and it was like, okay, I get it. And I decided to go back to school for neuroscience because I started reading like neuroscience blogs and an audition. Like, what am I doing? I'm like waiting for an audition. I'm reading science. So I decided to do that. And I liked it, but I didn't love it. And then I was going to go for a PhD. And I'm like, if I got into the best program, would I be excited? No. And then like a lot of auditions started coming my way. And then I went in the other direction again.
You were on the path. You were on the
Yeah.
path. So you take this project on in
Mhm.
Lethia, and it holds a deep personal meaning for you. Can you tell us a little bit about the project and why did you take on a role in the project?
Yeah. So it was it's a short film about a woman who lives with dementia, and the role I had was this really amazing caretaker, like this woman who's like full of service, like kind of woman you just want to find in your everyday. And I have someone dear to me who's suffering with dementia, and so I wasn't sure at first because it's kind of intense in my personal life right now with that, but it was a really beautiful thing to be a part of in this story. And in addition, it was a female director, a female producer, and it's just this lovely, it was just a whole, all female cast. And just a really nice little tight family. It was really, really sweet. It was like, it was just so invigorating to be part of this group. I just enjoyed myself so much. They're so sweet, so kind. And it was just a very moving experience to be part of that.
Was there anything specific about the film that you sort of felt like, I don't know if I could do this? You know how sometimes we take on projects or goals or situations and we kind of think, well, I took this on, but now it seems like more than I bargained for, especially when it's so
Mhm.
personal.
There's a moment when for a hot second I felt that, but then it changed. It was about this person's story, the Shannon, the role I play, story instead, and how most people with dementia we kind of are often separate from it. We see someone as an other, and this person really like stepped into the woman's world and knew how to do that. And that's so rare that you see that someone is effective at stepping into someone's world who has dementia and is able to communicate with them in their world, whether, they're in the past, the present, or some, a trauma situation. So that was really special to do.
For a while, I like you said, I
Mhm.
felt sort of detached from
Right.
that because I didn't know anyone who had it, and but then when it hits close to home, it just becomes something very different. And
Yeah.
now I think the empathy button definitely works very differently when it
Mhm.
comes to the illness,
Oh,
for
yeah, of
sure.
course.
So your path has been anything, everything, and anything but
Mhm.
traditional.
Yeah,
Looking
yeah, no, in everything I do, I just know it's never going to be a straight path.
kudos to you
So,
because most of us spend years trying to stay on, on a certain path. And then later
yeah.
on in life, we're like, what am I doing? I only get one life, and you figured that out early, which is it's pretty awesome if you ask me. But when you look back, was there a moment when you realized the life that everyone expected for you wasn't necessarily the life you were meant to live? Because I know our parents
Mhm.
do that to us. I mean, for
Yeah.
me, my mom was like, "You need to be a doctor or a lawyer. Anything else doesn't
Right.
count."
I mean, I think there's many times, but I think a few times came when I was going up to Dartmouth to look, and my dad's like, "Let's go again because you're not sure," you know. But I'd gotten in. It's like okay, like I love it. Like I knew this is not right for me, you know. And I think it was that kind of thing, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know, when I went there at first, someone asked me if I was an insider or an outsider. I was like, I'm sorry, because I was wearing different colored and I looked very artsy. And not that there aren't artsy people there, but yeah, it was just a weird thing to say to someone, are you an insider or an outsider? But yeah, I felt so at home at Tish. It was like, oh my God, this is great. Like it was fantastic. It was just like immediately like my people.
So when
Oh.
you say I knew,
Mm.
was it like something within that told you, okay, this is not the path. Like I'm gonna do something different, or was it just like
It's
an undiscovered passion?
It was all a game. Like I always saw everything as, and I still do, like as a game. Like if you can't see it all as a game, I knew high school was a game. Like I'm gonna have to do the best as I can, and then all the options, play that game. And I'm playing this game. It's not like about getting anything from me on the outside. It's about like what I feel inside. And I was like, that game in high school is done. And I'm like, so what is the game now? Because it's like they're all just like appearances and disappearances, like nothing, that's how it's all kind of a game.
I love that perspective.
That's kind of how I see it all. But so yeah, like I played that game in high school. Like I look like a different person in high school. Like I just, I even when I was going back to school, like not too pretty recently for neuroscience, everyone thought I was the biggest nerd until they found out I was an actress, and then they found out my grades, and they're like, "You're still a really big nerd." And
Wow.
like they couldn't hold both of them, like people were so excited to hear I was an actress, and then when they were competing with me for my grades, they're like, "Yeah, you're not cool anymore. You're a dork."
Well, I mean, it's kind of cool to live, two different sort of be
Yeah.
able to navigate in, two different worlds.
Yeah,
I
but
think it's
yeah,
cool.
it's all a game. It's all like a game. It's like a big play. That's how I see it,
So
It's a
you've
ride.
100%. I wish we could, I don't know, I wish we could do more of that, but
Mhm.
I think oftentimes we see life as such a heavy, serious thing. It can definitely get in the way. But
Yeah.
you succeeded in, really just highly demanding environments, which I find super cool. Athletics, academics, and acting. Has your definition of success evolved over the years? Like,
Mm.
is there something you value now that maybe you didn't in earlier in life?
Well, failure. Yeah. Yeah, like before I went back for a degree in neuroscience, I couldn't handle it. Rejection was like killing me. Like you could see it on my face when I feel rejection. It was terrible.
Same girl, same.
Yeah, but like specifically with acting, but now I see it as fuel. Like no's are like fuel.
Hmm.
It's just like because it's true. It's like it's all a game to me. It's success is not if I was to value success from the external world, I would be like I would be miserable. Like I don't know how one has any joy if that's the way if like that's the way I was going to live my life. So if I feel happy and I can embrace fear and failure and go into that, then I feel successful. If I can really like, when I feel fearful and I can go into something that makes me fearful, that makes me feel successful. If I have to avoid it, if I'm just, that makes me feel not like successful.
Do you
If that
think
makes
that
sense.
this I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there from left field. Do you think the skiing kind of played into that? Because, I imagine you were on
Mhm.
these steep hills and sort of you look down at the hill and you had to ski down and it was a
Yeah.
challenge. And do you
I never
think
did. I mean, I skied with the best of the best, not like the worst of the worst. I was the worst of the best. So, and that was awful because I wasn't okay with that failure. Because I mean, I trained with Lindsay Vaughn. And
wow.
I mean, I was on chair with her. She was amazing. And I didn't have her level of, expertise because I was in high school and everything. They went to school for until 11 a.m. every day. So I don't think I think actually I've been a long time meditator. I think that's part of it. I have a teacher, a spiritual teacher, who's been my teacher for 20 years. I think her teaching is really the foundation for how I live my life. Her name is Gangaji. I think that's how I've been able to live the life I live. So it's not really
No, that
about
makes
any like
sense.
thing I did earlier on because ski that wrecked me. Like I hated being the worst of like very good people, but like I hated it. Like now I'm a great skier, but like it was tough to be the worst of them.
That no, that actually that makes sense. I only started meditating and tuning into sort of my spiritual place maybe after I lost my mom 3 years ago. That's really when my life was turned upside down and I had to find something to get grounded again. But
Makes sense.
the fact that you found, this practice early on it must have really been helpful for you throughout your just adult
Yeah, it just
years.
makes sense. Yeah, I started meditating when I was 19 and I found her a long time ago. So yeah,
That's
I had actually headed to
amazing.
a retreat with her this weekend.
That's
So
amazing. So many people watch, and thanks for sharing that.
Mhm.
That's pretty special. So many people watching have experienced some form of loss, change, or uncertainty in their lives. Through your personal experiences and the stories you've chosen to tell, what have you learned about resilience and navigating life's unexpected chapters? And there are so many of those.
Resilience is a muscle that you have to build. That's what I've learned. That it's just not something that just comes. We're not taught to be resilient. And also with self-compassion, that's with resilience. But yeah, I think experiences just increase your resilience. And it's just something you have to continue to go back to. Not like you were just handed it all. when you're young and like a little resilient suitcase. But yeah, I think, yeah, it just builds over time.
I'm glad you reminded us about self-compassion because that's probably for me been one of the most difficult things. And I still have to practice. I have
Mhm.
to give myself grace because I am my worst critic. I am
Everyone is. I mean, you're not alone. You're human, right? So you have a human brain, so that's good.
so self-compassion, that's a great one to remember. So
Mhm.
as you look ahead to this exciting season of your career, because we're going to be seeing more of you, what kinds of impact do you hope your work has on the people who watch it?
I hope I always look at it as the story in itself. Like I hope the stories, people draw meaning from the stories. That's how I look at it. It's not like my impact on, I hope someone is drawn to me, my just the story. Because there's some really touching, really, really moving stories. Like the film that just won a Tribeca, Cotton Fever. That is just an incredibly moving story. And same with Gangland that's coming out AMC theaters soon. It's a wonderful story. And there's so many messages within it. So I
What's
think
your what's what's your favorite film? Like a film that just the story sort of sticks
my
out for
personal
you?
film,
Yeah.
like
No, not that you've
oh,
even
no. No,
been
no,
in
that
it,
my
just
own favorite film.
yeah.
It really depends. I look at so many different things when I think of a film. It's hard. I'm looking at so many different parts, it's hard to think of. I just don't have one. It's really hard.
Okay. Okay. So we've talked about reinvention, achievement, family, the unexpected turns, life can take. As we close, what's one truth that life has taught you that no degree, no achievement, career milestone could have prepared you for?
Everything changes.
Lizzie, you are deep. I wasn't expecting this, to be honest with you. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a light conversation,"
I guess
and
I'm pretty deep.
I
I mean, I have a lot. I've
no,
been
but I love it though.
I mean, some of my favorite times have been on silent retreats in my life since I was a young person. So,
Silent retreat.
mhm.
What's the longest you've done?
They're only like 5 to 7 days with my teacher. Like, I've been doing that for a long time.
See, I think you must have been born anointed or something because
I don't
to
think so.
start
If you saw my
meditating.
parents, you'd be like, "Wait, she must be adopted."
Well,
So,
I mean, think about it. You started this journey, and I'm talking about the spiritual part at 19. I
mhm.
don't know any 19-year-old. I was crazy at 19. Like it makes sense that I'm sort of trying to ground myself at this point in my life because 19 was just I was just like nutty. So the fact that you
I'm
even
still nutty. I'm still a neurotic Jew. I mean, I have still all that,
but
like
there's like a calmness about you.
yeah,
There really is.
I guess I both. I mean, you should see me 5 minutes before the interview having a call on my phone. But yeah, I mean, it's true. It's like, it's what we value most, I guess.
Well, I loved having you here. You can come back whenever you want and we can
It's
speak
such a
on
pleasure talking to you.
absolutely.
So fun.
Please share with our listeners how do we find out about more about you and your films, the projects
I
you
think on
have coming up.
Instagram for me is the best. Lindsay Weisberg on Instagram is the best for finding out about my stuff. Yeah, basically that.
Well, thank you for sharing your journey, your story with us today and
Yeah.
reminding us of some of life's greatest lessons happen beyond our accomplishments.
Yeah.
And thank you, loves, for joining us on this episode of AW Confidential, where truth transforms. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.